Corinthians chapter 2, verse 9. But as it is written, eye have not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which the Most High have prepared for them that love him. So it hasn't entered into our mind the glory, the power, the level of greatness that the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashim Shai, is going to put his chosen people on. We have speculation. We can read the scriptures, do artist depictions, but none of that can compare to the glory we're going to receive in the kingdom of heaven. The power, the greatness that the Heavenly Father is going to bring us back to. We're going to be gods on the earth. We're going to mirror the Heavenly Father on the earth. Yahweh Shai is coming back with power and great glory, and he's going to mirror his Father on the earth, and we're going to mirror Yahweh Shai and the Father on the earth. We're going to be gods in the third dimensional realm.
I have said, ye are gods, and all of you are children of the Most High.
When we analyze the scriptures and think of it spiritually, we can see the bigger picture and the greatness of the kingdom, how it's going to be. But we still just have a little inkling. We really don't have the fullness. Remember, Yahweh Shai said, it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom of heaven. So what do you think is going to come with the kingdom of heaven? Many benefits. So we have no clue or idea what the kingdom of heaven is going to be like. Specifically, we just have ideas. Some brothers have a better imagination than others. They may be able to draw certain things based off of what we read in scriptures, but to actually grasp the actual glory of it, it would be like the Apostle Paul trying to explain the spiritual realm, where he said it wasn't lawful for me, and there were not enough words to express the magnificence and the beauty of the spirit world. You see? So we can only speak on carnal things and imagination that we may have of how the kingdom is going to be, but the greatness of it, the glory of it, we don't know yet until it actually comes.
But as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which God hath prepared for them that love him. But God hath revealed them unto us by his Spirit.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, GMS, rule well, teach well, being great example to his younger brothers, and peace and blessing, salutation. All right, to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word in truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, pushing to get up out of him. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners that have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. All right, well, I want to get into the day. All right, as we know, what's been a hot topic, for this last week and a half, dealing with that conflict, that we see, between those Israelis, all right, and the Hamas militants, out of Palestine. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to see, how every major country, is connected, all right, with that conflict. We're going to go through it. So I got a lot of windows open, I'm a Lord willing, do a lot of showing, different maps, all right, different different alliances, go into a little bit of geography, because World War III will be fought, on the global, all right, stage. The brother can the brother Bob Shah put Ecclesiastes chapter 3, Ecclesiastes 3, I want to say it's 8. Yeah, brother put Ecclesiastes 3 and 8. Yeah, Ecclesiastes 3 and 8. And well, I say what we're gonna do, we're gonna link, you know, all these major nations together within this conflict, you know, try to make sense. And then we're gonna see, you know, how the scriptures are dead accurate, you know, within prophecy, you know, about what particular nations, you know, would be doing, you know, leading up to World War III, you know, which will be the war, all right, that will end all wars. It will usher in Yahushua, which is going to conquer all these heathens in righteousness. You know, that's the end game, all right, according to the scriptures. Now, when you get Ecclesiastes 3 and 8, this is from the brother Nathan Yawasop, you know, the water Akia, and it says, this is Ecclesiastes 3 and 8. It says, a time to love, all right, a time to hate, a time of war, and a time of peace. And it's obvious, all right, that we are in a time of war. You know, war is constantly escalating in the earth. All right, war tensions, you know, are constantly getting higher and higher amongst multiple nations. All right, in the earth. Now, let's get Matthew 24. My brother put Matthew 24, 6, 7, and 8. You know, Baba Shah. You know, put that up there, you know, because that's going to be the basics and the basis of the lesson, you know, but it's obvious, you know, that we are, you know, in times, you know, of war, you know, when you look in the earth, you know, everything that we see happening, you know, geopolitically is leading to war. You know, we know we're not in a time of peace. No, it's time of turmoil because the earth is in chaos, because it's being ran by the leader of chaos, you know, Esau Edom. All right. Now, the brother Occupy Till I Come says, I don't know if this is important, but I was just watching this Asian news channel, and Myanmar is rejecting foreign aid. Well, we know we got, you know, that conflict, you know, that they got going on in Myanmar. You know, people getting slaughtered over there, you know, and Myanmar, you know, Myanmar is going to come up, you know, within this lesson. You know, they on one of the lists, you know, that I have, you know. Yeah, it's gonna be through. Hey, cause war destroys, all right, your economy. You know, it takes a lot of money to fight a war. Take tons of money to fight wars. You see, and that's why the bankers profit so much off war. You know, because the brother said they said half of their population is expected to be in poverty by next year. Yeah, like I say, because it costs so much, you know, to fight a war. You know, it costs a lot of money, all right, to fight, you know, a war, especially when you're fighting, you know, a tough, you know, nation. You know, um, you gotta exalt, you know, a lot of resources, you know. But this is from the brother Babylon Must Die, Matthew 24 and 6. And it says, and ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. And we're not troubled, you know, at these rumors of war. You know, we're constantly hearing, you know, about what these nations have going on, troops moving here, you know, conflicts going on here, you know, tensions in the South China Sea, you know, different planes getting intercepted, you know, by other planes, you know, Navy vessels, you know, being escorted out by other Navy vessels, you know, from another nation, you know. So when we hear these things, we are not troubled because this is what we want, man. We want the war, you know. We want the war. We need the war. The war is the best thing that can happen, man, because it's gonna lead, all right, to seeing Yahweh Shai. All right. So verse 7 is from the brother Nathan Yawasop. All right, Nathan Yawasop. It says Matthew 24 and 7. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places. Now, the main thing that we're going to harp on during this lesson is nation against nation. All right? Nation against nation. You know, that's the name of this lesson. All right? And read verse 8. And it says, and all these are the beginning of sorrows, man. You know, and another thing, like I say, war creates great famine. You know, in the midst of war, all right, great famine is created, you know, because a war tactic, you know, is to starve your enemy out, you know, which causes your enemy to turn on itself. You see, it turns into a survival of the fittest mind state against the inhabitants, man. And it makes, you know, a nation easier to conquer, you know, if you can cut off their food supply. Now, I want to start off with this clip, all right, from your girl Dinah. All right. Now this clip gonna pretty much set the tone. She's gonna, you know, give a summary of what's going on, you know, and then we're gonna go in depth, you know, into the players, you know, these conflicts. All right. So let me share the screen again.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's Dina Calametta here. And for today's broadcast, I do have some updates I'd like to share with you. Of course, in regards to Israel, but also China and Russia and the US. But let's start with Israel first. Now, just yesterday, I brought you guys a report in regards to Israeli troops going into Gaza. But apparently, at midnight, the IDF spokesperson, English department, tweeted that the IDF air and ground troops were currently attacking in the Gaza Strip. At about 9 p.m. on Thursday night, the IDF began assembling ground forces along the border with the Gaza Strip. Some armored and infantry battalions joined the artillery batteries that had been deployed days earlier in order to pound Hamas and Islamic Jihad targets. But earlier in the day, the IDF said that a ground offensive was on the table as a viable option for the.
So when you have, you know, ground troops, you know, in the play, you know, there really goes into an invasion, you know. So we could see these Israelis, you know, invade, you know, the Gaza Strip, you know, to deal, you know, with the Hamas, all right, militants, you know, which are backed by Iran. So, you know, it can escalate to an all-out war, basically. You know, that's what the rumors have been, you know, that this will, you know, escalate into an all-out war between the Israelis and those Hamas, which Hamas, you know, doesn't stand a chance against those Israelis. All right. And they're going to need some help, you know. So I say this conflict, you know, can escalate, you know, pretty quickly, you know, in their region. All right.
Continuation of Operation Guardians of the Wall. The IDF was hitting hard at Hamas from the air, but on the ground, they would be expected to cause even more damage, with a greater risk to the Israeli forces. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made his contribution, saying Thursday that the campaign against the Hamas war was far from over and that more Israeli action was coming. At midnight, the IDF spokesperson, as I stated earlier, tweeted that the IDF air and ground troops.
And you see, you know, the spirit that's on that damn devil, Benjamin Netanyahu, man, you know, is to do what, man? Continue this campaign, which, like I say, you know, we we love to see this, man. He's just playing this position, but you see the mindset of an Edomite is to continue, all right, war campaigns, man, because all these Israelis did was, they've been destroying those people over there, man, constantly pushing them further and further out, constantly taking land, which none of the land belongs to neither one of them. And World War III gonna clear out that, it's going it's going to vacate all the inhabitants of that land, man. All right, everyone's finna get evicted from our land, but just dealing with the two parties at hand. All right, these Palestinians and Israel, the Israelis. All right, because they not Israelites, they not us. We're Yasha'Allah. But dealing with what we see happening is these Israelis, they'll bomb the shit out these Palestinians. They'll destroy them in the streets. They'll push them out of lands. And what's happening is when the Palestinians finally, react, that's when they'll turn the cameras on. All right, as if the Palestinians are the ones that's being aggressive, and Israel is just defending themselves. So the whole objective was to eventually, just invade, the Gaza Strip and wage war against those Palestinians. All right. And they're doing this, and they're doing this because what, man? All right. They want to try to forge, all right, the blessing of Jacob. They want to try to forge the blessing of Jacob. So let's get a brother put up there real quick. Let's get Ezekiel 35. No, so like Ezekiel 36 and 2. Yeah, let's get Ezekiel 36 and 2. And the brother can put Amos, and the accuracy of the prophecy. All right, the accuracy of the prophecy, should constantly increase our faith. All right. And the brother put Amos 1 and 6 through 8. Yeah, Amos chapter 1, verses 6 through 8. My brother posted, and we'll get there real quick. All right, this the brother Lathan Yawasab. This is Ezekiel 36 and 2 said, thus said the Lord power. It said, because the enemy have said against you, and this is speaking to the land. Aha, even the ancient high places are ours in possession. So they're just claiming this land for themselves, man. And they're constantly pushing out everyone else and staking claim, in our land. It began with 1948. That's when this really, this is when this begun, and ever since then, he just been chipping away at more and more of our land, claiming it as his own possession, man, and destroying those people that's over there. You see in the process, Yeah, my brother put that Amos, there you go. Brother quick with the draw. At the water to you, Akim, Now, when you go to, this is brother Occupy Till I Come. All right, it said, thus said the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Al Shai. It said, for 3 transgressions of Gaza, and for 4 I would not turn away the punishment thereof, because they carried away captive the whole, get down. All right. Yep, this is it. All right. This is the whole captivity to deliver them up, all right, to Edom. You see, because all these nations played a part, in our downfall. All these nations played a part, within our downfall, man. So all we're seeing is the vengeance of the Lord wreaking havoc on all these nations, man. Verse 7, the brother can put Obadiah 1 and 15, All right. This is the book back in Amos 1:7 said, "But I will send a fire on the wall of Gaza, which shall devour the palaces thereof." You see? So this war is just prepping that fire to be sent, in this region, man. All right, because there's gonna be a lot of fireworks in that region in the near future, man. And Yahweh Shai just coming to top everything off, man. Verse 8, it says, "I will cut off the inhabitants from Ashdod," all right, "and him that holdeth the scepter from Ashkelon," which we've been hearing about these lands, in the news, man. All right. And Andrew Casilli, you gotta fall back. You knew you need to be listening. All right, and this ain't the platform. All right, be talking about what your mama said, man. This that mama boy spirit ain't. Come on, you shouldn't be asking your mama about advice about these prophecies, man. Now if you serious, all right, brother, just fall back and listen, man. This ain't the chat room just to be saying random thoughts, man. This is Amos 1:8, and it says, "And I will cut off the inhabitant from Ashdod, and from the holder, and him that holdeth the scepter from Ashkelon." And Esau is the one, that's staking claim to our land, man. The scepter goes to rulership. He's staking rulership, to our land. "And I will turn my hand against Ekron, and the remnant of the Philistines shall perish, said the Lord Yahweh." So this is what we're seeing building up. All right. Their region, plays a major part in this Third World War. All right. So let's get back to the video.
Are currently attacking in the Gaza Strip. The foreign media jumped on the tweet. So did I. Which, by the way, I'd like to clarify, I am not part of mainstream media. This is an independent ministry. We have our own studio, in fact, in our home, and we have no affiliation with any mainstream media. I know that there have been comments in the past, so I just want to clarify that. We are independent and viewer supported. So with that said, let's pick up where we left off. So apparently there was no ground invasion. Yes, the IDF had deployed troops along the border, but they did not cross into Gaza. What did happen was in the air, where 160 aircraft had assembled for a massive bombing run over the Gaza Strip. Their target was what the IDF called Hamas's Metro, an underground network of tunnels where Hamas stored its weapons and used to move throughout Gaza, hidden from Israeli aircraft. According to the reports, due to the deployment along the border and the news coming out in the foreign media of a ground incursion, Hamas and the Islamic Jihad sent their first line of defense into the tunnels to start taking up positions. These were the anti-tank missile teams and mortar squads meant to strike at incoming Israeli ground forces. What these Hamas operatives did not know was that there was no ground offensive. Instead, once they were out of the tunnels, they were exposed to Israeli aircraft, and within minutes, the Metro attack went ahead. This led to speculation that the tweet about the ground incursion was intentional and made to get Hamas to believe it was safe to enter the tunnels. Now, at this point right now, it hasn't been made public at the time of this broadcast how many Hamas or Islamic Jihad terrorists were killed in the operation. Apparently, the military is still evaluating the consequences of that operation. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see what happens there. But to move on to some other topics in regards to Israel. Apparently, Palestinians in the Gaza Strip have fired roughly 2,000 rockets and mortar shells towards Israel since the outbreak of fighting on Monday. The military says that over the course of Thursday night and Friday morning, an additional 220 projectiles were fired from the enclave, with 30 of them failing to cross the border and landing within the strip. Now, in addition to this, 3 rockets were fired from Lebanon and landed in the Mediterranean Ocean on Thursday night. A Palestinian terrorist group was likely behind the rocket fire, according to the Jerusalem Post, and had been arrested by Lebanese security forces. Now, in addition to that, it is also being reported that 3 projectiles from Syria fell in an open area in the Golan Heights. And there have been no injuries, but it doesn't stop there. It is also being reported that Turkey has considered sending troops to East Jerusalem as part of a peacekeeping mission. So besides Hamas,
So you got Turkey now getting involved and saying they may send troops to East Jerusalem, all right, in Syria, you know, as peacekeeping troops, you know. But like the brother Howard Warren in Alabama always says, the Esau's way of keeping peace is sending more troops, you know. So you have Turkey, you know, they're speaking about sending troops, all right, to their region, man, you know. And just I'm gonna let it play some more, but that's gonna play a vital role, all right, in what's to come, you know. And the scripture cover all this, man. All right.
we have Lebanon, Syria, and Turkey who's looking to get involved in this conflict.
And Lebanon is going to be, that militant group called Hezbollah. When you think of Lebanon, think of Hezbollah, and we're going to put all this together.
Now that brings me to Psalm 83 and something that's been on my mind.
Now, she tripping. Like I say, they do great when they just stick to the news and just bring out the facts. But when they go to the scriptures, they be tripping. Tripping. Let me try to fast forward because she goes into madness. Let me see.
Offer were to be relayed in the coming day or so. In addition to that, the Hamas political leader tells a Turkish news agency that the Gaza terror group is ready for a ceasefire, but has not received a response from Israel. Abbas has called on Biden to stop Israeli aggression in the West Bank and Gaza as senior U.S. officials arrive in Israel to seek an end to the Gaza violence. So a ceasefire could be brokered in the coming days. But in the meantime, rockets are still going off. The IDF says that 140 rockets have been fired from Gaza, with dozens intercepted by the Iron Dome, and so on and so forth. So still a lot of fighting going on right now. And as always, I will continue to keep you updated. But let's move on and talk about China. Apparently, China has issued its deadliest warning yet, as Beijing warned that the U.S. will be defeated if the two superpowers go to war amid a tense standoff over the South China Sea and Taiwan. The report goes on to read that China has pledged to rapidly defeat the U.S. in a military conflict in one of the country's most explicit warnings yet. China's Global Times, which is seen as a government news outlet, published an editorial revealing the threat in response to joint military drills carried out by the U.S. The U.S. did join drills with Japan, Australia, and France this week in an intended show of force against Beijing. However, instead of backing down, China appears to have been rattled, prompting a fierce rebuke in Beijing's state-run newspaper, asserting confidence in Chinese military superiority. According to the Global Times editorial, the U.S. will be defeated if it engages in combat with China in its neighboring waters. The editorial also read that the People's Liberation Army doesn't even need to make pointed responses to the joint drills since it's insignificant militarily. Now, with all of that said, the United Kingdom will soon deploy the largest fleet it has assembled in decades to the Eastern Pacific in a major show of military support for the U.S. The deployment is the first stage of a larger overhaul of the UK's military, now that the nation is freshly divorced from the European Union. Finally, it reports that the UK will deploy 8 naval vessels in total to the Pacific, partnering with an additional U.S. destroyer and Dutch vessel. The group will sail through the hotly contested South China Sea, an area where China has been aggressively expanding what it calls.
So you see, America and also EU nations, are, going to provoke China in the South China Sea, So you see all these nations, all these major players, are all involved in some type of conflict, When this thing jumps off, all right, there's going to be missiles flying everywhere, all right? Infrastructure going to be destroyed everywhere. All these nations, got some type of beef, one way or the other, whether it's directly or just being allied with someone. They're involved, in some type of conflict, man. you know, some type of tension, you see?
Its borders. So China is certainly not going to be happy about the UK's decision of going into the South China Sea to back the US. This is another very hot area with a lot of close calls. But speaking of which, let's talk about Russia and NATO. As you can see from the headline, Russia and NATO are playing a dangerous game of aerial chicken. Russian pilots sortied in 2 different incidents this week to intercept and escort NATO aircraft near the nation's sovereign airspace. On Monday, a Russian Su-27 fighter was scrambled to intercept tactical aircraft from the French Air Force over the Black Sea. Another encounter. A day later, the Russian Northern Fleet sent another fighter to intercept a Norwegian Air Force reconnaissance and patrol aircraft over the Barents Sea. Apparently, an MiG-31 fighter jet from the Northern Fleet's Air Defense Quick Reaction Alert Forces was scrambled to identify the aerial target and prevent it from violating the Russian state border. The Russian fighter's crew identified the aerial target as a Norwegian Air Force P-3C Orion maritime patrol aircraft and shadowed it over the Barents Sea. But these aerial close encounters have increased in recent years and have become almost routine over the neutral waters of the Black Sea, the Barents, and even the Bering Straits. But Moscow has warned that the increased reconnaissance activities near Russia pose a risk of rising tensions between the nations. But that hasn't stopped Russia from sending bombers closer to Alaska in recent months. And the great danger is that these encounters could possibly become hostile in nature. So another very hot issue with Russia. And again, a lot of close calls. So certainly a busy week in prophecy. And as always, I will continue to bring you updates. On another note, be on the lookout next week. I hope to bring you a broadcast on God's promises, as well as an extended Bible prophecy update. So be on the...
Nah, we'll take it from here. You know, you did your part. All right. So now you see all this is going on. So what I'm gonna attempt to do is make everything make sense about who is lined up with who, going into this war. Now we know things are going to change when the war starts. A lot of people are going to abandon, America and those Israelis. All right. And they going to get blown to smithereens. You see? But before then, when this war first jumps off, all right, let's get everything aligned up. So what I did, I made a chart. All right, yeah, let me know if y'all can see this chart when I post it up. And then we'll go into the precepts and make everything make sense. Abaratazai. Oh. Okay. Share. Okay, let me might have to blow it up some. Give me a minute. I really want y'all to see this chart. All right, can y'all see it? Let me know if y'all can see it. Then y'all brothers, let me know if y'all can see it. I had the hand write it, line it up like I wanted it. But let me know if y'all can see and read these countries that's on here. Yeah, I'm gonna move it up and down. I can move it up and down. Just let me know if you can see and read it. Yeah, I can move it up and down to the part I need. As I'm speaking on it. But yeah, just making sure that that is clear. Come on, brother. Brother say it's good. Okay, come. All right, so let's go into it. All right, so let's go into it. Let me go back to it over here, or I can move it. Now, what you have, all right, these are big dogs at the top. So you have Russia and China on one side, all right. Then you have America and the Israelis, all right, because these are the two agendas, that's going, all right, heads up. All right, war is based on the idea, and what we see happening, all right, with America and those Israelis, they just terrorizing their region, you know, and Russia and China, like, look, y'all got to, calm y'all head down, man. You see? So the four main players is Russia and China, all right, and America and the Israelis. Now, going to Ezekiel 38, all right, this is the Ezekiel 38 crew here. All right, Russia, which is Gog and Magog. All right, Turkey, which is Gomar. All right, and Iran, which is Persia. You see, this is the Ezekiel 38 crew, which we always go into. All right, so with Turkey, all right, and you have Iran, they're under Russia. Russia's the big dog. All right, and this whole thing, even though with China, Russia is big homie. So Iran is also a big homie in their region. So under Iran, what do you have? You have Hezbollah, all right, which is when they refer to Lebanon, they're talking about the militant group of Hezbollah, which is trained, all right, and which is equipped, through Hezbollah. Now remember, when that Iranian general was killed, General Soleimani, that whole region was in mourning. That whole region. I think the funeral, if a brother, can fact check me, but I think at General Soleimani funeral, you had like 11 million people, because the Iranian general, he had part in training all these militant groups, all right, those militant groups in Syria, all right, that falls under Iran. That's why you see those Israelis always bombing, all right, so-called, weapons depot, Iranian weapon depots or convoys in where? Syria, all right. So Syria is under the branch of Iran, all right, and then you have the Palestinians, which this is who those Israelis are fighting now, all right. While Iran, helps, with their militants as well. You see? And then a month ago, you had the Russian foreign minister, all right, go to Palestine, and talk to their president, talk to their leader. You see? So all these are lined up, all right, as far as war. All right, they're allied together as far as war. And then you have what you know as the Houthi rebels. You brothers and sisters might hear about, the Houthi rebels, every now and then, dealing with, the fighting that's in Yemen. The Houthi rebels are based, in Yemen, you see, which is to the south of Saudi Arabia. All right. And that's why you see those Saudi Arabians, they're going against Yemen because they're under the control of who? Those Israelis. Those Israelis pent Saudi Arabia against the Houthi rebels. So when you see Saudi Arabia and the Yemens, all right, who's the mastermind behind it? Those Israelis. You see? Because who they really trying to get at? Iran. Because the Houthi rebels are sponsored by who? Iran. You see, when you hear about proxy wars, that's what it is. All right. the Israelis are using Saudi Arabia as a proxy, all right, military, you know, and Iran is using the Houthi rebels as a proxy, all right, militant group, you know. So a lot of these little offshoots that we see fighting goes back to one of these major players, all right, that's backing them. You see? Well, and I'm hoping this makes sense. If you got any questions, just put it on the comment board. We'll stop, and explain. If you got something you want to ask after, put it on the comment board after, just let me know. All right. Now you have also under Iran is Iraq. Because if you brothers can remember, when General Soleimani got killed, there was also an Iraq military leader that got killed as well. All right. Because General Soleimani, he had big ties in Iraq. And when you see those military bases, in Iraq get attacked, all right, why? Because Iran has an influence in Iraq, because Iran and Iraq have trade deals. All right, they locked in tight, with trade deals. Iraq does a lot of trading with Iran. All right. Now, when you go to America, all right, what's under America? NATO and the EU. Now, for brother could post Revelations chapter 17 verses 1 through 3. 1 through 4. We'll go ahead and read 1 through 4. All right. And brother posted, and we'll get into that dealing with America. All right. Which America is over the NATO and the EU. You see? And then we're going to tie all these things up together, dealing with prophecy. Okay, so the brother posted it. Now, this is the brother Yashua, my tribe of Judah. All right. Revelation 17 and 1. And it says, and there came one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore. All right. The great whore that sitteth upon many waters. You see, which is speaking of who, man? America is that great whore. And those many waters is many people, because America's, all right, has an influence, all right, on many people of the earth, man. Now, verse 2, it says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunken with the wine of her fornication. Yeah, because America's influence, has been forwarded throughout the whole earth. The wine of fornication that goes into her, that toxic doctrine, all right, of this westernized way of living, democracy, the money system, the religions, all these false religions, pseudo narrative of the Bible, Esau, Edom through America has forwarded throughout the earth, And so verse 3, it says, so he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet colored beast. All right. And this is America. You see how America, all right, sits on NATO and the EU. You see? And it says, and I saw a woman sit upon the scarlet colored beast full of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. And those 10 horns goes going into today. All right, will be those EU states which are like vassals unto this American hegemony. All right, that runs the earth. NATO being this, all right, this alliance, all right, under this beast, man, and we're going to get into, all right, these EU nations, man, and then that ties in with America. It says full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. All right. And it says, verse 4, and the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness, man. Hey, because of all these nations, man, America is just the one that's just wide open, man, with their wickedness, man. you know. And America's just the one that's just wide open with their wickedness, man, out of this whole conglomerate. You know, all of them wicked, all of them, are adverse to righteousness. You see, but America is just a place, where it's just wide open, you know. And this is the one that has all the influence. America is the one that has the influence, you know. The earth is not being conformed to Great Britain. The earth is being conformed to America, which America came out of, Great Britain. But now, let's go to these charts. I got another, because remember, America, all right, they whore, all right, they rise this beast. Now, let's get something else. We'll come back to this chart, in a minute. Let me stop this and go back. Let me share. Hold on. All right, let me try to magnify that a little bit. Let me try to blow this up a little bit. I know it's probably hard to see. Let me see if they let me magnify it. Look, they ain't got nothing to magnify with. I'm gonna magnify itself when you don't want it to there. I know, let me see. So like it, bro. I don't know. Can y'all see the names of these countries? I know it probably kind of small. It won't let me magnify it. Trying to see. If not, I just read them, I'm trying to make it visible as possible. But nevertheless, now when you get into U.S. arms exports in 2020 by country, and this is going by hundreds of millions, and millions, some cases billions. Now, the two countries that have brought the most, all right, arms, all right, 2020 was Saudi Arabia and Australia. Now remember, Saudi Arabia, they're going against, they really want them to be pinned directly against Iran, but they're fighting, they war in Yemen, the conflict in Yemen against those Houthi rebels. And then you have Australia, which of late, they've been pinned against China. America has them pinned against China, There's nukes over there in Australia, And then who you have next? You got South Korea, and they armed South Korea, to be what? A buffer state, for China. All right. And that's why they go so hard on North Korea, because North Korea is in the favor of China. You see? And then you have Japan, which is used, all All right, for guess who? China, man. There's a lot of emphasis on China. Like these nations that they sell weapons to, they're not just selling them, all right, just because they want to see these nations protected. No, these nations serve an interest because they geographical location, all right, to nations that are adverse, all right, to America, man. You know, you have the United Kingdom, the Netherlands, Israel, India, all right. With United Kingdom, Netherlands is going into those 10 horns, some of those 10 horn countries, all right. You have Israel, India, Norway, Qatar, you know, which is over there by Saudi Arabia, Afghanistan, NATO, United Arab Emirates, you know, which is also over there by Saudi Arabia. Let me try to go to the next one. Yeah. Now you go to the next one. All right. And you have Italy, Lithuania, you know, these 10 horn nations. You see, Taiwan, Romania, Indonesia, Poland, Canada, Philippines, France. You see that? A 10 horn nation, part of those 10 horns, the EU. You see? I say France, Lebanon, Egypt, Singapore, and Portugal. Because Portugal is part of those 10 horns. You see? So you see how America, you know, sit up upon the beast. You know, NATO, a lot of nations get, you know, arms from America, and and they strategically sell to these nations based on their geographical location. All right, which we're going to show you now. Let's get some maps. I got a few maps I want to show. So let's get a map real quick to show you why they sell weapons. Why America sell these weapons, all right, to particular nations. Now, and JDW, you're gonna post a precept, post out the King James version, and post the name of the precept. Post a chapter and the verse of the precept. So let's go from there. Now you go to this map. Let me see what it look like for y'all. Let me see. See, you will let me blow it up. It won't let me. Oh, he's always want you to buy something. God damn. All right, we ain't gonna do that. All right, so what you have when you look at Russia and the geographical location. All right. So with Russia, now what you have the USSR, those old states, the different states that was attached, to Russia, but they was annexed, mainly by European and NATO influence. And then NATO was created, just to combat against Russia. Now, when you look at the border, all right, of Russia, what do you have? You have one nation is Lithuania, all right, Ukraine, which are heavily influenced, and Lithuania is one of the top nations that buys arms from America. Ukraine, all right, is an ally to America. Poland is one of the top nations that buys weaponry from America. Romania is one of these top nations that buys weaponry from America. So what you see, all right, is America is arming these nations just to be, a buffer, a defense against a Russian invasion. You see, and that's why it's so much, because Ukraine is has the biggest border, with Russia out of all these countries. That's why you see so much conflict with Russia and Ukraine, because if Russia wanted to invade Europe, they would have to go through these countries. Now, it'd be hard to do an invasion when all these countries that you have to pass through are allied, all right, with the enemy. You see, that's why they call, these countries, those old USR countries, they call it the Iron Wall. You know, I don't know if you brothers, familiar with that term, but they call it the Iron Wall because they got so much military equipment in this area, all right, that to block an invasion from Russia. And that's what those Europeans fear, because you got back over here on the backside, in the white, you have Ireland, United Kingdom, Netherlands, Belgium, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Italy, which these are the 10 horns, Portugal. You see, those 10 horns. You see? So you have these states here, all right, these buffer states to stop an invasion of Russia coming coming west, all right, into these regions, but Russia has enough weaponry. Hey, they ain't got to come, but they can send some over there. All right. When you had that, when they canceled one of those latest treaties with those missiles, dealing with Russia. All right. Russia said they put in every European capital. All right. You put in every European capital that he has put every. All right. He's putting every European capital, on his target list, man. And brother, um, JDW616, just fall back and listen, bro. You doing a lot of talking, man. Just fall back and listen, bro. You ain't gotta be seen or heard. Just fall back and just listen, man. You got a lot of comments, a lot of precept. Fall back, bro. You need to be learning. You see, or you get your own platform and you can do a World War III update, bro. But you gotta fall back. Yeah, that's what they call it, brother, the Iron Curtain. Yeah, that's what they call it, the Iron Curtain. That goes into those nations that the EU, America, and NATO, has equipped with weaponry, to ward off a Russian invasion. You see, but now you see why America sells, those different nations arms. It's a reason why they do that. They don't just pick random nations, you know, and sell arms to. No, it's a nation that's within their interest, you know. So um now let's go into Russia. Let's deal with Russia. find it. Here we go. So now you see, it should make sense how America, you know, their whore that sitteth on that beast, you know. Now, when you go to Russia, now dealing with Russia, all right, they sell most of their weaponry to Belarus, you know, which we just seen on the map. That's part, you know, of that of that Iron Curtain. So there's, you know, a lot of Russian hardware, military hardware, you know, within that curtain. You got Kazakhstan, you got China, you got Algeria, Vietnam, Angola, India, Egypt, Iraq, um, Azer, uh, Azerbaijan. All right, you got Myanmar, which the brother talked about earlier. You know, they get equipped from Russia. And you have Pakistan, and you have the United Arab Emirates. And see, there's a few of these like Egypt, India, and the United Emirates. All right, they buy from both sides, and we know eventually they're going to flip. All right, on America. You know, eventually they're going to turn and flip on America, man. All right, everyone you see playing both sides, where they're gonna tilt, you know, to the side of America. Matter of fact, brother posted for me in Obadiah. A brother posted for me in Obadiah 1. Okay. Brother posted in Obadiah 1 and 7, you know, because a lot of those nations, you know, that side, you know, they get weaponry from both sides. All right. Um, a lot of these nations that get weaponry from both sides, those nations eventually gonna turn on America. You know, all missiles lead to America, you know. But yeah, put that Obadiah 1 and 7, brother. You know, if you know. But yeah, you see, you know, Pakistan, which I'm gonna get a video on Pakistan. We're gonna play, you know, that video and see, you know, the flags, all right, that that Pakistan is burning. Now, this is Obadiah 1 and 7. It says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee, and you go into confederacy, you go into an alliance or you know, an agreed ally. You know, so before the war, it's a lot of nations that's in agreement to America, but that's not going to be in agreement. You know, when this war kicks off, man. You know, because hey, these people switch sides once they, cause see, you want to be a part of the winning side because that means you get to reap the spoils of the war. All right. So you're going to have nations switch sides when they see, all right, America getting their woe out. You know, that's what happens in war sometimes. You want to switch sides to the side that's going to win so you can receive the spoils of war. You know? And it says, all the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread. All right. See what the rest of it. Yep. I think this brother got the rest of it. All right. I'm reading again on this from Yashima tribe of Judah. It says, all the men that confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. It says, they that eat thy, let me see what the rest of it. Here you go. And they that eat thy bread have laid a wound under thee, and there is none understanding in him. Yep, and it's those EU nations too, you know. And it said they that eat thy bread, because these nations have different trade agreements with America. All right, when you go back to the Treaty of Rome, I believe it's 1953. You know, it was known as the Economic, all right, Community of Commerce. You know, they were basically, you know, the agreement, you know, their treaty was centered around different trade markets, you know. So they were eating together, man, you know. But those same nations are going to turn because the things, all right, that's for the interests of America, it don't interest these other nations, man. You see, America has been on a rampage of doing things that only benefit them. That American first foreign policy has isolated America, you know, but these nations are still in different agreements with them because they benefit off of it. But there are some decisions that have been made that have hurt these nations, like those sanctions on Iran. They hurt some of those EU nations that get oil from Iran. You know, they have trade deals from Iran. You see, so that agreement, because see, I know the French, Germany, and Britain, you know, they were begging Trump not to get out that deal, and when he did it, you know, they were like, you know, like it was a slap in the face, man, to those EU nations, you know. So those nations are already set up, you know, to turn on America. All right. So now remember, Russia sells arms to Pakistan. So let's go get, you know, how Pakistan, their stance on particular nations, you know, and just gonna be a visual. All right. Well, this is Pakistan, which they are a nuclear, all right, powerhouse. You know, in Pakistan, they got, you know, they got a little, you know, beef with India. All right. India has, you know, a tensions with China. You see, so when Yahweh Shah said nation gonna be against nation, man, that was literal, you know, kingdom against kingdom. All right, so let's pull this video up again.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. It's Dina Calmetti here. And for today's broadcast, I do have some updates I'd like to share with you.
All right. So let's get this little clip. You know, I just want to show y'all a visual.
Okay, this is the Griffin OTS by Normandy Knives. It's got a rubberized coating. It's got this cool little window breaker, belt clip, and it's an automatic knife. Single-sided mechanism, warranted for life.
And you see what it say. Take it back. All right, you see that? It said Israel is an illegitimate state. You see, that's their stance against those Israelis and those imposters over there. Pakistan, like, look, Israel is an illegitimate state, man. You see, you can't fool everybody all the time. You know, the gig is up. You know, my brother can post that at Jeremiah 49 and 10. You know, like the brother Fisher. All right, Fisher turned 104, Amos 9 and 11 said, the vision of Obadiah, thus said the Lord power concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord Yahweh by Shema Shai, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. All right. So there's circulating stories about them. That's not the real people, man. You know, that's what's being pushed out now. You see, they don't fit prophecy, man. You know, illegitimate. You illegitimate, or you a bastard, man. All right, them some damn bastards over there. You know, verse 2 said, behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. You see, greatly despised. You know, and this is playing out real time. Those people are hated in that region, man. You know, even by other Edomites, man. Turkey said, look, you know, those people got to be taught a lesson, man. Speaking to those Israelis over there. That's what they told Russia, man. You know? So let's let it play on.
कुछ नहीं उठाता है किसी अगर और बीबीसी फिर ऐसे है जो इसका पूरी दुनिया के मसाइल में सर फहरिस्त है आज की दुनिया में भी फलस्तीनियों ने अपनी मुजाहिमत के जरिए से ये बात बता दी है कि असल जिंदगी मुजाहिमत में है, जिद्दोजहद में है, इसी को जिहाद फी सबीलिल्लाह कहते हैं। बल्कि अफसोसनाक बात यह है अगर ये तमाम इस्लामी ममालिक मिल जाएं और इनमें से चंद, मैं तैयब रजब अर्दोगान का शुक्रिया अदा करता हूं कि उन्होंने उम्मत मुस्लिमा की तर्जुमानी की है। सिर्फ एक वाहिद वही लीडर है कि जिन्होंने कुछ बात की है, बाकी सब लोग खामोश हैं।
Okay, now this is what I want to show. Here you go. Here, you know, I don't know what the hell Elon talking about. But what you have here, you got these 4 flags. Okay, you have the French flag right here. You know, then you have the India, the flag with India, which those Elamites too. You know, but then you have the flag of those Israelis, and you have America. All right, and they're gonna burn. All right, all them flags, man. You know, they gonna burn all them flags. You see. So you have the American flag, the Israeli, the India, and the French. All right. So that's that's the EU nation. All right, India. You know, then you have Esau, Edom. You know, that's the whore that rides on many waters, greatly despised. You see, because 3 out of these 4 flags are Edomites. Esau, Edom is becoming greatly despised, man. You know, but you just see how these nations are lined up. Now, just want to show this real quick on that. Yep, just like the brother put that up there real quick. This is Zechariah 9:6, and a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and Ashdod was a portion of Israel that was allotted, you know, to Judah. You know, it's down there in the southern part of Israel. All right. And it says, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines. And that's what we're seeing happening, man. You know, the Most High is cutting off the pride, you know, from these heathens, man. You know, that's what they mean, man. All right. So, let's get that little chart one more time, and then we're just gonna get into these precepts. Get ready to close it out. But like I said, I hope everything making sense, that y'all seeing how these nations, tie in together. All right, so blow it up some more. Yeah, they trying to give me hell with sharing the screen. We're gonna push through. Gotta do it twice for it to pop up. All right, so now you see how, all right, these nations line up. Now you see the sides. All right, and this is how World War III is going to start. This is a rough draft, on how this war is going to start, but it's going to end with everybody, America and those Israelis will be left alone, all right, and get their ass tore out the frame. America will be completely destroyed, turned into a desert, all right, and the land of Israel will be cleansed with fire, all right, their filth, all right, the whack ass buildings they got over there. All right, all that's going to be destroyed. That infrastructure will be completely destroyed for purpose of remodeling for the elect. All right, you heathens going to build it up, man. So when you jump down, or in Pakistan and India, which are two nuclear nations, you have Pakistan that's already more towards, under, Russia and China, and their allies, and then you have India, which is kind of, leaning towards, this American NATO EU, but India eventually is going to flip, man. They playing both sides of the fence, but they done had a few, discrepancies with America, but all these nations, these two nations are going to eventually flip. Well, India is going to flip, Pakistan, you already see where they stand, so yeah, let's get a few precepts. I just want to get into the precept now. All right, so let's get Jeremiah 51 and 20. Start at 27. All right, this is Jeremiah 51 and 27. And it says, set ye up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet against the nations, prepare the nations against her. You see? And then her is speaking of America, man. And everybody's allied with it. All right. But at the end of the day, it's going to be Americans, you Israelis, going to be through. It says, call together against her the kings of Ararat, Mini, Ashkenaz, appoint a captain against her, cause the horses, all right, to come up as a rough as the rough caterpillars, you know. So let's get that word Ararat, which is what they're speaking of today. And then you go into Ararat. What does it mean? It says the curse reverse, precipitation of curse, man. Hey, because this third world war, all right, this is going to be the end of us existing on earth with these curses, man. We're going to be changed. We're going to get new bodies. The curse is going to be done away with, like the scripture saying in Revelation, how the curse shall be no more. You know, a brother can post it if they can find it. All right. Now it says Ararat, or rather Armenia. You see, in that region over there by Turkey, you know, Ararat, Armenia, you know, because Mount Ararat is in Turkey. You see? So the Most High is stirring that region up, you know, for what, man? To go to battle. All right. So let's go back to it. Let's go back to Jeremiah 51. Look up another one of these nations. All right. Jeremiah 51:27. Let me look up. Yep. This is Revelation 22:3. And it says, and there shall be no more curse, but the throne of the Most High and of the Lamb shall be in it. All right. And his servants shall serve him. Yeah. So that curse, you know, is going to go away, you know, and that's spiritual. That one of those lands, that one of those regions that's going to go to war against Babylon, you know, it means curse reverse. You know, it's heavy, man. That's why I say this, the World War III is in our favor, man. You know, and crazy as it sounds, all right? As crazy as it sounds, man, World War III is in our favor, man. You know? So let's go back. You get that word. Let's say many. It's all spiritual. All right, which is division, you know, which is another, you know, region in Armenia, you know, but it means division. You know, like the scriptures say, if Satan be divided against itself, you know, brother can post that up there. Things in 1 in Mark, you know, house cannot stand. You know, so the Lord is speaking through this war, you know, in a major way. So let's get back to Jeremiah 51 and just read through. All right, because Armenia is a border, you know, to Turkey. All right, it says, set you up a standard. Is that Jeremiah 51:27 again? It says, set ye up a standard in the land, blow the trumpet among the nations, prepare the nations against her, call together against her the kingdoms of Ararat, Mini, and Ashkenaz, appoint a captain against her, and the captain is going to be Russia. May God cause the horses to come up as rough caterpillars. Prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, all right, which are the Russians, all right, the captains thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. You see, and Russia being riled up, all right, and it's a big homie to a lot of nations, all right. They hate America, man. All right, and it says, and the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without inhabitant, man. So we're seeing the build up. We're seeing all the pieces come together that's going to make America a desert. All right. Let's get let's get Ezekiel 38. Let's go through there. Get a couple more to back that up. Now when you go into Ezekiel 38, all right. Ezekiel 38:1. It says, "And the word of the Lord Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, in the land of Magog, all right, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus said the Lord power, behold, I'm against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal." All right, and just speaking of Russia. "And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth." And you see what has happened, man. Russia, all right, is being brought forth, into those old countries which they once possessed. All right, they got 100,000 troops, on the border of Ukraine. Last, I seen reported. You see, so they're being brought forth, man. And it says, "In all thy army, horses and horsemen," yeah, and they moved a lot of heavy, military hardware in their region. It says, "All of them clothes with all sorts of armor, even a great company, with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them going to Iran, and then you also have Russia, have plans to build different military bases, in northern Africa, man, Libya. You see, it says all of them with shield and helmet. Gomar, Turkey, and you see what Turkey, they talking about what? Sending troops, all right, to East Jerusalem. You see, to help, those Palestinians, man. All right. Gomar and all his bands, the house of Togomar of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with thee. Be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company." So Russia is doing what, man? Arming all these anti-American nations with weaponry, man. "And thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." And that's what we're witnessing, man, real time. That's what we're witnessing real time. So you go from there. All right. Let's get I want to say Daniel 5. Now let's go to the writing on the wall. All right. All right. In Daniel 5:24, it said, "Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this was the writing. And this is the writing that was written, many, many to call a parson. This is the interpretation of the thing, many. The Most High have numbered thy kingdom and finished it." So when we say America is finished, we mean it's finished. The Most High has numbered this place and finished it, man. It's done. All right. The Most High finna pull the ticket on America, man. All right. We just waiting it out. Right now, it's to the point where we waiting this out. It's happening. We just waiting this thing out until the end. It said, "Though I weighed in the balance and found wanting." All right, verse 28 is the point. "Thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes," all right, the Russians and Persians. You see, which they're not going to be next to rule, but they're going to play a major part in taking down America, man. These two nations, Iran and Russia. So let's get that in Isaiah, and then I get a couple more. I got a few more things I'm gonna go into, but I save it for another update. It's gonna go down. This is Isaiah 21:2. It says, "A grievous vision is declared unto me, the treachery dealeth treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. Go up, O Elam," all right. He's mainly speaking of Iran. "Besiege, O Media," all right, which is modern day Russia. "All the sign thereof have I made to cease." Yeah, so those nations ain't in the spirit of pouting. you know, about what America is doing. No, these nations are in the spirit, all right, of doing something, of doing something about it, man. You know, and hey, you know what I like to close out on, you know, but I'm gonna get this. I believe somebody put something in the comment board. Yep, let me see this. All right, this is the brother Matt. This the brother the 7. All right, Matthew 12:26. And if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? Yeah, so you got all these Edomite nations. They got all these different discrepancies. All right. The Edomite military, they're gonna. There's a lot of Edomites gonna kill Edomites in World War III, man. You know, so his kingdom, all right, has no way of standing because it's too much division. You know, and his kingdom is finna be stripped to him, man. You know, and given to who? Let's end it here. All right, Revelation 11:14. Oh, that's why. All right, this is Revelation 11:14. It says the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. And that's what we're seeing, you know, building up. You know, now there's other prophecies that have to take place, you know, but those prophecies are moving fast, man. You know, hey, things are going digital quick. All right. And it says verse 15, it says, and the 7 angels sounded, there was great voices in heaven saying, the kingdoms of this world are become the kingdoms of our Lord and of his anointed, and he shall reign forever and ever. You know, so World War III will end all heathen rulership, all right, and will be the beginning of a righteous rulership under Yahweh. You know, so this is where we at, man. You know, so all these nations have interest, you know, in that conflict that's going on. All these nations, you know, have allied, clicked up, you know, and everybody just moving forward, man. You know, everybody wants to smoke. You know, it's a lot of tension just everywhere. You see? So that's the point. You know, I pray that you brothers and you few sisters edified. You know, once again, I'm gonna give all praises and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Kakadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of How Bashim Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect. You know, till next time I say Kwam Yashala or Bob or Ball. You know, if you brothers and sisters got any questions, you know, about anything we want to know today, you know, just put it in the comment board and we get into it. You know, anything you need explained or broken down from what you're seeing, you know, put it in the comment board and you know, we'll get to it, you know. But till next time I say Shalom.